Hey everyone, welcome back to Phantom Whispers. Tonight, I'm going to tell you about a rule that exists across Asia, from Taiwan to the Philippines, from Thailand to Korea. It's simple, but breaking it can be deadly. If you hear your name called at night, especially from darkness, from a forest, from somewhere you can't see, never answer. Not the first time. Not immediately, because in Asian folklore, spirits can mimic voices perfectly. They sound exactly like your mother, your friend, your lover. And if you answer, if you acknowledge them, you give them permission. Permission to lead you away. Permission to take you. A group of university students from Taipei learned this rule on a camping trip in the mountains of central Taiwan. One of them answered, and what happened next would haunt the survivors for the rest of their lives. After I tell you this story, I'll explain why this belief exists across so many Asian cultures, and what you should do if you ever hear your name called from the darkness. Stay with me until the end. Let's call him Chen. He was 22 years old, a university student in Taipei, studying engineering. He and 4 friends decided to go camping in the mountains near Nantou County, a popular area for hiking and outdoor activities. They were experienced campers. They'd done this trip before, knew the trails, knew the area. They arrived at the campsite in the late afternoon, set up their tents near a clearing surrounded by dense forest, and spent the evening cooking, talking, enjoying the cool mountain air. The area was remote. The nearest village was an hour's hike down the mountain. There were no other campers nearby. Just them, the forest, and the sound of insects and birds settling in for the night. As the sun set, one of Chen's friends, a girl named May, mentioned something her grandmother had told her. My grandmother said never to answer if you hear your name called at night in the mountains, she said, half joking. She said spirits live in the forests and they call out to people, trying to lure them away. The group laughed. It was a superstition, a story to scare children. Chen, especially, was skeptical. He was a science student. He didn't believe in ghosts. If I hear my name, he joked, I'll answer. Let's see what happens. May's expression turned serious. Don't, she said quietly. My grandmother said if you answer, they can take you. Just don't. Chen shrugged it off. They finished dinner, put out the fire, and went to their tents around 11 p.m. The forest was dark, the kind of darkness you only find far from cities. Complete, absolute, and silent. Chen woke around 2 a.m. He didn't know why. He just woke, suddenly, completely alert. The tent was dark, his friend sleeping next to him, snoring softly. Everything seemed normal. And then he heard it. His name, Chen. Soft, distant, coming from outside the tent, from the forest. It sounded like May's voice, exactly like her voice. Chen, are you awake? Chen sat up. Why was May calling him? Was something wrong? He unzipped the tent quietly, trying not to wake his friend, and looked outside. The campsite was dark, lit only by the faint glow of the moon through the trees. May's tent was closed, silent, but the voice came again. Chen, I need help. Come here. It was definitely May's voice, coming from the forest, from the tree line about 30 meters away. Chen hesitated. Something felt wrong, but it was May's voice. Maybe she'd gone to the bathroom and gotten lost. Maybe she needed help. He grabbed his flashlight and stepped out of the tent. May? He called softly. Where are you? The voice responded immediately. I'm here, in the trees. Come help me. Chen walked toward the tree line, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. "May, what's wrong?" he called. No response, just silence. And then the voice again, deeper in the forest now. "Chen, come here. Hurry." He walked into the forest. The trees were dense, the undergrowth thick. His flashlight beam swept across trunks, branches, shadows. "May, where are you?" he called. The voice came from ahead, always ahead, always just out of sight. "Here, keep coming. I need you." Chen followed. He walked deeper, the campsite disappearing behind him, the darkness closing in. And then he realized something. The voice was leading him uphill, away from the campsite, toward the cliff edge he'd seen earlier that day. The cliff that dropped 200 meters into a ravine. He stopped. His heart pounded. "May?" he called. "Is that really you?" The voice responded, but this time it sounded different, flatter, less human. "Keep coming, Chen. Just a little further." Chen's blood ran cold. He turned around. He couldn't see the campsite. He'd walked too far. He'd been following the voice for how long? 10 minutes? 15? He ran, crashing through the undergrowth, branches tearing at his clothes, his flashlight beam bouncing wildly. He ran until he burst back into the clearing, gasping, terrified. His friends were awake, standing outside their tents, calling his name. Real voices, panicked voices. They ran to him. "Where were you?" May demanded. "We heard you leave. We called for you, but you didn't answer." Chen stared at her. "You called me," he said. "You said you needed help in the forest." May's face went pale. "I didn't call you," she said. "I've been in my tent the whole time. We only woke up because we heard you crashing through the trees." The group checked. Everyone was accounted for. No one had left their tent. No one had called Chen's name. But Chen had heard it. May's voice. Clear. Unmistakable. Calling him into the forest. Calling him toward the cliff. One of the other friends, a guy named Wei, pulled out his phone and turned on the flashlight. "Show us where you went," he said. Chen led them to the edge of the forest, to where he'd entered. They followed his path, the broken branches, the disturbed undergrowth. The trail led uphill, and it ended at the cliff edge, right at the edge. Another 5 steps, and Chen would have walked off into the darkness, into the ravine, to his death. The group packed up immediately. They didn't wait for morning. They hiked down the mountain in the dark, using their phone lights, not speaking, just moving. When they reached the village at dawn, they went to a small temple. The temple keeper, an old woman, listened to their story. She nodded slowly. "The mountain spirits," she said. "They call to people. They use the voices of loved ones. If you answer, if you follow, they lead you to death. Cliffs, rivers, ravines. Your friend was lucky. Most people who follow the voices don't come back." She gave them each a small amulet, blessed, to protect them, and she told them what they should have done. "If you hear your name at night, don't answer. Wait. Listen for it a second time. If it comes again, answer with a question, something only the real person would know. What did we eat for dinner? What color is my tent?" If the voice can't answer, or answers wrong, you know it's not human, and you run. You don't investigate. You don't follow. You run. Chen never went camping again. Not in the mountains. Not anywhere remote. His friends noticed the change in him. He became withdrawn, anxious. He started having nightmares, the same dream, every night. He's walking through the forest, following a voice, and he reaches the cliff edge. But in the dream, he doesn't stop. He keeps walking. and he falls. And as he falls, he hears the voice laughing. Not May's voice anymore. Something else. Something that was never human. 6 months after the incident, Chen went to see a therapist. He told her everything. She diagnosed him with PTSD, prescribed medication, suggested therapy, but the nightmares continued. And then, one night, it happened again. He was in his apartment in Taipei, alone, trying to sleep. Around 3 a.m., he heard it. His name, Chen, coming from outside his window. He lived on the 8th floor. There was no one outside his window, but the voice was there, clear, insistent. Chen, come to the window. It sounded like his mother. Chen didn't answer. He didn't move. He lay in bed, paralyzed by fear, listening to the voice call his name over and over. Chen, Chen, Chen. It continued for 10 minutes, and then it stopped. Silence. Chen never told anyone about that night, but he moved apartments a month later, and he never sleeps with the window open anymore. So why do spirits call out names? In Chinese, Taiwanese, and many Asian cultures, names have power. Your name is connected to your soul, your essence. When someone calls your name, they're calling your spirit, your attention, your very being. In the physical world, among the living, this is normal. But at night, in darkness, in liminal spaces, like forests or mountains, you can't be sure who or what is calling you. The belief is that spirits, especially malevolent ones, can mimic voices perfectly. They listen to conversations, learn the voices of your loved ones, and use those voices to lure you. If you answer immediately, you acknowledge them. You give them permission to interact with you. And once that connection is made, they can lead you anywhere, usually to death. Cliffs, rivers, roads, anywhere you can fall, drown, or be struck. The protection is simple. Don't answer the first time. Wait. If the voice calls again, respond with a question only the real person would know the answer to. Or turn around slowly and verify the person is actually there before you follow. These rules have saved lives. Chen's friends believe these rules saved Chen, because if he'd walked just 5 more steps, if he hadn't stopped and questioned, he would have fallen, and his body would have been found at the bottom of that ravine, just like others before him. What do you think happened? Was it really a spirit? Or could there be another explanation? Sleepwalking? Disorientation? The mind playing tricks in unfamiliar darkness? Have you ever heard your name called when no one was there? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more true ghost stories from across Asia.